Mom slowly puts the bottle down the drain. She wanted the new boy to drink first, but the man refused to open his mouth. The woman reminds him to drink, because if he doesn't drink the milk, the mother will be very angry. She's about to hit her mother's bottom line. The woman puts her mouth on him and sucks on him. She kept making baby noises. I thought the mom wouldn't be angry now, but the next moment she turned the bottle to the man. Looking at his mom's nails, which hadn't been cut for decades, the man refused to open his mouth no matter what. The mom was furious. She opened the door and cursed at the man. Finally, she carried him to the bed. Seeing that the furious mom forgot to close the door, the woman immediately started her escape plan. But as soon as she climbed out of the dungeon, she heard the man screams. Confused, the woman went to the door to see. She found her mother breastfeeding the man. The woman was so scared that she hurried to run away, but the sound of her running was instantly heard by her mother. The woman was about to be taken back. A passing homeless man appeared just in time. He rescued her from the dungeon. The mother gave him a disappointed look. The woman rushed to her senses and said, "There's a terrible monster living in the basement." But the hobo said the monster wasn't scary. But the tramp said the monster wasn't scary. There was something even scarier than mom. But the woman didn't have time to listen to the story. She rushed to the police to call them to tell them there was a terrible monster in the basement. But when they saw how dirty she was, they thought she was a psychopath. They drove off in a huff. A few days ago, a woman found something strange in the house she just rented. She found a thick rope on the wall. To satisfy her curiosity, she tugged on it and opened a secret door in the basement. She was afraid to go in the dark, but her boyfriend broke in. Half an hour had passed, but he didn't come out. In order to find out what was going on, Jesse had to go into the darkness of the basement. Soon he heard his boyfriend's cry for help. Although he was scared to death, but in order to find him, he had to go deeper. Then he suddenly realized with horror, this basement is very large, and there were several cages in each room. Soon the boyfriend crawled out from the front. Just as they were about to escape, the horrible monster suddenly came out. In the end, Jessie was locked in the dungeon by the monster. She lived on milk powder from the monster every day. However, 6 months later, this house was bought by a rich businessman, Mike. Soon he realized that there was a huge basement underneath the house. He thought he could make a fortune with this basement. He took a tape measure and started measuring the basement. Suddenly, he realized that something was tugging at his tape measure. So he grabbed his flashlight and shined it in front of him. But he didn't find anything unusual. He reacted and ran away. But in his panic, he dropped the flashlight on the ground. So he was put in the dungeon by the monster. Shortly after, Jessie escaped from the dungeon. She wanted to tell the police to get Mike out too. But when the police saw how dirty she was, they drove off thinking she was a psychopath. Do you think the woman will save Mike?